fun. I'm excited. How you say something about getting to know each other?
I did.
Okay.
I don't know
Who's who?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
It helps.
Let's do that. You know the names.
Are you sure?
I'm just making sure.
Hi.
So as a way, I think of introduction to know everybody. So maybe we give a little bit of background as to how we fit into this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair? So I'm obviously Armand. I write songs and come from, or rather, is a marketing person. I studied marketing, and my corporate background is in marketing. And so that's pretty much creatively where my mind goes.
Okay. I'm Joy. I manage artists and I produce live events.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've mostly been working with comedy and music. Yeah, and I got into it by pure chance, by absolute chance. So it's one of those where it's like, you know, and you can be like, you can trace back your life and you're like, yeah, no, this was God, because it's literally been that sort of situation for me.
So I'm gonna ask you those questions
Okay.
in terms of how you ended up doing it. Yeah.
All right, I'm Mojo. And primarily, I guess, I've got a dance background. Used to compete primarily ballroom and Latin, but also just ventured beyond that.
Hectic.
And I've also performing arts here and there. I've also dabbled, so to speak. So like we've taken a play down to the Graham's Arts Festival a few years ago.
Really?
And then,
The National Art Festival?
Yeah, just one time, and then we've also put on
Don't
the
just
same.
one time this. What the heck you
No, I'm
That's
just
a
You
thing.
did that. Like,
let's
give
just-
yourself
yes.
that. You did that.
That's
We've
a
done
thing.
that.
No, just
yes,
nothing.
yes, 100%.
By the way, this is rolling.
100%.
So you know.
Oh,
I figured.
okay.
I knew it.
Sorry, Khabo.
That's so good. So and then with I think that same play, the Joburg Theatre as well. So just massive interest in the arts as well. So yeah.
My what I'm interested to know is the background you have in leading Hillsong.
Yes.
All the creatives, and did you also sort of lead or?
Okay, sure. So So within my time at Hillsong, how I started off there, I was in part of our worship team, and being part of worship as well. Also primarily the dance component within creative. I had a heavy hand within that, specifically here in Gauteng. I was involved quite heavily. Officially, so because I was overseeing the Johannesburg church, I wasn't, there was somebody specifically over creative.
Sure.
And my wife as well, she was looking after the worship specifically in Johannesburg. But my involvement within there was also quite heavy. So, for example, if we put on anything like Christmas Spectacular, for example, which is a Christmas show we put on every single year, there's quite a big dance component that's there. So I'd be involved in the choreography of that quite often. Even though, yes, I'm looking after the church as a whole, but I would participate. So as a choreographer, for example, but also as a dancer or on vocals when needed, etc. So yeah.
That's a vibe. You see, oh man, that's a vibe. You know, the way we should start this episode, he just like teaches us what to do, like dance wise. Like a couple of, you know what I mean?
Just some dance
Just
moves.
some dance
Just a
moves.
gora there.
Come on, Khabo. Come on, bro.
No.
You got it.
Yeah, bro. Imagine just.
I used to be a
moonwalking.
dancer.
How about we believe in you?
Yeah, but this is like back in the day.
My man.
But anyway, no, you don't. Anyway, back to introductions. I'd say a lot, but similar.
Yeah.
I'm in music. I'm in content. I'm in film and photography.
Yeah.
I'm in directing and. Been doing that the last decade or so. That's like the long and short of it.
Yeah, come on, Cubs.
How crazy is it that with creativity or with creatives, you can most of the times you can't just be one thing. Like it's like you're a photographer and then you have to be
you-
content and then you have to be
yeah.
this and whatever. You can't just be a civil engineer. You know what I mean?
I
It's
think
not-
I actually respect the people that just do one, because it takes a lot of just saying no to the other stuff.
yeah.
Like going that route, because naturally, I guess, like we gravitate to, can I entertain this? Can I be good at
Yeah,
this? You know. So, but yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
But don't you think it's also because, to some degree, you're diversifying your
Portfolio.
streams? Well, your streams of incomes. Yeah, you know what I mean.
'Cause you
like
have to.
you have to.
You
You know
have
what I mean.
to.
Like it's like, I don't know. I was asking the guys earlier. Can you name like creatives? And when I say creatives, I'm specifically thinking about the musicians, the filmmakers, the whatever. Can you name someone who's like financially killing it? But what I mean is like multiple bodies, or you're like, those guys are financially killing it.
It's more an anomaly than it is like a everybody
It's not
does a
mass.
thing.
It's not the masses.
It's not the masses
it's,
at
it's
all.
like,
Which is unfortunate, right? Because I feel like creatives are literally constantly creating.
Yeah.
And you would think that that's the space of people that are kind of like bringing new ideas, bringing new things. You'd think that's the space where people would be able to kind of live off of that because they're literally doing something that's never been done before. Even if they dance, it's like, oh, there's a way that you can choreograph that he can't or I
100%.
can't. So everybody, even if it's the same thing, everybody's not doing it the same way. So you would think that that is a skill that would be
valued.
valued more.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing, the creative economy, or let's speak more to South Africa, I don't think it's as valued as other countries, continents, whatever the case is. And so like I could be the dopest photographer or the dopest dancer, and yes, I'm creating an original art piece every single time, but it's like that art is in the, what do they call it? What did they say? What of the beholder? The eye of the
yeah.
and so like that's creators have always been at the mercy of the other person on the other side.
The civil engineer.
And the bankers.
Oh yeah, weird enough. So I don't think like, yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. You can probably tell that this is the episode of the creatives because we've started, but we haven't quite formally announced that we've started. So, good people, welcome to Stuff We Didn't Say on Sunday. And today it is for the creatives, by the creatives. And we're unpacking some of the most, I think, complex and exciting stuff happening in the creative industry in South Africa. And I'm joined by amazing peeps, really cool peeps, I think. And without further ado, let's introduce the guys on the table, and we can continue with the conversation. But here we go. Let's start with you. Oh, you did say.
I literally said I literally said
You know,
Okay, let me take it.
Come,
I'll take it,
come
I'll
on,
take
you know
it.
what?
Okay, she
Take
don't
it
want-
for the
she
team,
don't want
bro.
ladies
Yeah,
first.
guys.
So
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
come
take
in
it
there.
for the-
But
for the-
my
come on.
name is Khabo. Am I saying it to camera or to you?
Around it, it's fine.
My name is Khabo.
hi,
Hi,
Khabo.
Khabo. I am a multifaceted
Let's go, bro.
creative, filmmaker, colorist, photographer,
Colorist.
and tour manager as well.
Yeah, we need to unpack all of those things.
Yeah.
Unpack it. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Mojo, and in terms of my background, I've had a bit of an interesting one. Look, currently I'm in the corporate space, but then before I was in corporate, I was leading a church here in Johannesburg, Hillsong Church. That's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Joy, and I manage artists and I produce live events. I actually manage tours as well. So yeah,
Let's
that's
go.
me.
I am excited. And you know why I'm excited? Because I think that the creatives are some of the most emotional beings, I think, that really walks this earth. And so I want to start with this question. How do you guys in your personal lives deal with rejection? because I think that that's part of pretty much the everyday life of a creative.
Rejection in like what sense?
Like you made a film, for example.
Yeah.
You put out and you say to people, "Hey guys, go watch the film," or whatever the case is, and
No one watches.
no one comes through.
It's rare. I'm sure a friend would come, but
yeah. Well, okay, fine. You know what?
Yeah.
If your audience or
Yeah,
your
yeah,
friends, sharp, they show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I'm sure when you create that thing, you're really hoping for at least some sort of financial return, right? And more often than not, I think, yes, our communities and families, they really want the best for us, and they'll try as much as possible to show up as a friend or as a brother, whatever the case is. But I think more often than not, you wanted to actually grow a little bit, bigger than just your family or whatever the case is. And so financially, you'd hope that it will get to a place where you make a little bit of return. So when that doesn't happen, what happens internally, and how do you deal with that? And I'll be interested to hear, particularly from you as well, in terms of you were preaching on I think 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah.
And you started your sermon with words mean a lot to you.
Yes.
And so when someone says to you, Mojo, what you just preached about, yeah, great word, whatever, but my word, it wasn't it. You know what I mean? So like, how do you then
First of all, if you want to fight, I got you.
You know what I mean? How do you navigate it? You know what I mean? Who wants to go first?
Mojo, let's take this one first.
No, can I start off with just to add to your situation. Yeah. So, random story. A few years ago, someone comes to me in church and says, "Listen, there's a casting happening, right? And I think you should go for it." So it was an ad that they were casting for a particularly big brand, and he gave me the brief. No jokes, ne? And the person that they were casting for, or the type that they were looking for, had my picture, literally my picture. Whoa. So I was like, okay, that's random. And so I go to the casting. Never really done these things before. I go to the casting, and I don't tell anyone in there that this is. Oh, I'm one of the people. I'm the reference, exactly. And I remember where that picture was taken. I was walking randomly in Bram one day, and it was for a completely random thing, and I don't know how they found it. But anyway, point is, I get in there and I go through the entire audition process and everything, and the whole time I'm thinking, just it takes a lot of courage for you to go through such things and to put yourself out there on the line time and time again, be at the mercy of people saying, and the industry looked quite ruthless. Yeah. Look, spoiler alert, I got the part.
The
it would have been awkward. And I don't think
you know what we're looking for.
That's exactly. I was just like,
we were kind of looking for someone like you, just not you.
Just not you.
That was so random. But just that, I think the idea of producing something is you're pouring yourself out, right? And I think it's a very vulnerable thing to do, and to continually do that and put yourself, I suppose, at the mercy of those that are receiving what you're pouring out is quite something. So for me, one of the things that's important is understanding, okay, but why am I doing this particular thing and for whom? Because doing something like a message, and we live in such a consumer society that you can want to tailor something in a way that it incites a reaction that feeds your flesh rather than serving the purpose, right? And I'm speaking specifically now in the context of bringing a message, is to say, hey, my heart is hopefully what God has put in there for you to do something beyond just the amen. And so if all I'm doing is trying to elicit a reaction in the moment, then I'm just feeding my flesh. And so for me, I guess it's important to say, okay, God, what do you want to do? How do I package this in a way that serves the purpose, and kind of leave it at that? I'm not saying that feedback doesn't land in a particular way, because one still needs to be open to it in some way or another. But I think what certainly helps is a remembrance of, but why am I doing this? Who am I serving? And that certainly helps. And yeah, when there is feedback, I think what I try and do is like, you take the meat, spit out the bones, as we typically say, is to say, okay, cool. Was this maybe packaged in a way that it wasn't helpful for the audience, rather than did I not do something that wouldn't incite people to jump up and clap, for example?
Sure.
Because that's genuinely a real thing. And at the end of the day, it's just like, well, I speak to you next week. Do you even remember what I said? And then it doesn't matter.
Sure. And as you guys answer the question, there's another one I wanna press in, particularly in terms of clapping and people reacting.
Yes.
But we're gonna press in the Khabo, let's go.
To that point is that like you're emotional because your art is an extension of what you do yourself, right? And so like I think when people say that don't take it personally when it's your art and maybe it's not accepted and it's personal because it's your art, it's your expression, right? But at the same time it's still business. So it's gray, it gets gray. But for me, I think when I loved art from a very young age, drawing from a very young age. I think, you're older, a bit more independent, can get my own resources, have my own time, set aside my own time. I started really like sketching during COVID, had a lot of time, picked it up, refined it, got better, got some mentors, really wanted to like just actually see maybe should I? And I remember like it was last year and I did like a big piece. And like, obviously, like I posted like just the process of making that art. And like, you get the likes and like,
oh,
this
Lord.
is dope.
Yeah.
Are you selling it? And I'm like, are you serious? People are actually asking if I'm selling this. And my mentors like sell like Gangload and exhibit internationally. And I remember like thinking, could I actually do this thing? And I'm like, imposter syndrome starts kicking in now. And I'm like, is it good enough? Is the technique well enough? Like, am I going to exhibit? Do I want to exhibit? Where am I going to sell this? How much should I sell this for? All these questions are now coming up. Eventually, I'm like, screw it. I'm actually just going to create a website. I'm selling the art as it is, digital, physical, all of that stuff. And I think I sold a few, right? At the price that I wanted. And I was like, whoa. And then it just went quiet since last year.
Hectic.
And I'm like, now I start questioning, like, is it that good? Is my technique good? All those questions come back again. And I'm like questioning myself and my art. Although when I'm making the art, it's so fulfilling. It's something that I've been wishing to do since my childhood. But dealing with that internally has been really hard. And so I mean, vulnerable, safe space, right? is that I actually just paused. Sure. And I want to get back to it when I feel like I'm not trying to create for another, for the other person.
Yeah.
Because that's when it really gets murky, where it's like, I know that if I made this piece, I would get this reactions like what you're talking about. If I said this particular reference, I could get a clap. I could get a right? If I drew and I made this particular art piece, I know that it could attract that particular person or that particular gallery, that particular agent. And I'm like, I don't want to be at the mercy of the other because then I am not serving me at some point. So I think right now, it might sound like a defense mechanism, right? But it's a guarding myself and my heart at the same time because I feel like, sometimes artists say, create first for yourself and then like the others will come. And I used to feel like, oh, that's so cheesy. I'm like, you are right. You are right. Because the other side is not that great. Yeah.
So I think for me, so I am not like the one that is creating the stuff, but I work with people that create. And so because I think I'm on the business side of it, for me, rejection comes with a monetary value.
Sure.
because I am the one that has to go and get, because I am the one that has to go and knock on the doors and get the business and get the, so that for me is kind of like the hard part of it. But I think I've been doing it long enough for me to understand that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And I think maybe it's also my own kind of just like, not defense mechanism, but a way that you, where I'm like, God will open doors for me that He will open, and the ones that I closed are not for me, and I move on. That's literally how I've had to kind of just like look at this whole thing. I'm just like, if God wanted that to happen, it will happen. If He doesn't want to, nothing I do is going to make it happen. So I kind of just like go I kind of go with everything that I do. I kind of go with that in mind, where I was just like, I am going because I believe that my steps are ordered, and if it's a no, then it's fine. It's a no, then we'll move on and go to the next thing. So yeah, I think for me, that's the kind of rejection. And then when I do shows, then the rejection you will feel in the ticket sales.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then,
you will feel
so
it.
then what do you do? So let's say you've got a venue. Let's say you've got a venue of like 1,000 people, and then like half of that pulls through. What do you do? How do you deal?
My brother, you must just deal. So it's either you market, okay, and you find new ways to kind of like market the show, to kind of do ticket sales, to, I don't know, do competitions, whatever. You do something, like you do the best that you physically can to kind of like get those things done. But if they're not done, then they're not done. But either way, the show must go on. Yeah. And I think for me, I like with what I do, because it feels like you know what goes into making this particular show happen or this particular thing happen, right? You know, like the stresses and, the worries and and then you get in there. And when you get in there, you see people literally sitting, enjoying this thing that you've put together. And I think for me, that's like, okay, this is why I do this. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you'll go through like the motions, as it happens in like leading to the show. And then you get to the show and you see people actually are just like, oh, they're receiving it well and they're loving it and whatever. The artist is having a great time. And you're like, if that's it, then that's it, and that's fine.
Wait, can we address the musician here?
Yes.
Because the great example, right? You are dealing with it from a back end.
Yes.
You are the artist that has a 1,000-seater theater.
And there's 250 people.
There's 200 tickets that are sold. Are you feeling like, am I that great?
I was trying to avoid the question. Just move it to everybody else so we can move. Look, I think, man, I personally, I struggle, right? Like I struggle with it because I think to some degree, you try to do the Christian thing, which is, it's all about the Lord, right? But
first of all, don't come for me. I don't understand why you're coming for me.
I'm just saying,
what was that?
No. I mean, this is me, right? This is what's happening internally, right? Like, it's all about the Lord, It's all about people buying the song or streaming the song or sitting in theaters or whatever the case is. It's as long as the Lord uses it the way He wants to, I'm fine. But while saying those things, you go home. You're just
like, please use it, please use it, please use it.
What am I doing?
Use it at 1,000.
Use it at 1,000.
You know what I mean? Like,
you said a buttons, Lord.
You know what I mean?
I asked it to say that I think it's because there's a thing that we were trying to tick. Am I trying to sell out a place and have that?
Yeah,
I did it. Or am I trying to just give my art the light of day?
Yeah.
Regardless of how many people hear it, see it. And both sides are important. No one is more important than the other. But I guess that's why, like, even for me, going back to my examples, like making the art, why was I making it? I don't know. For me, it was like I actually want another revenue stream. That was my first thing in my head. I'm like, it's COVID. People are buying art like this. Like, could I tap back into this talent? That's another little thing. It's like,
my Lord.
All those talents that you have, are you using them? I'm just like, okay. So anyway.
Yeah.
Can I double click on that? Similar question, but a slight variation again to you guys primarily. You started that. Is you're talking about the end product, so to speak, where you've now created something and
Yeah.
you're sharing it. But the process of creating something in the first place, how do you navigate that fine line between being authentic to yourself, so to speak, but also recognizing, hey, this is what the world is consuming at this point in time. I know what is marketable. I know what can get out there. So how do you guys navigate that on both fronts, as a creator, as somebody managing a creative? Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you this. I think I always go back to that scripture by Paul. It's like, as long as the gospel is preached, right? And I think, particularly when it comes to music, I think music it's cultural. Not everybody likes every kind of music, right? But if you play, for example, kizomba in I don't know, in Mozambique, right? People are going to move to it because they love that kind of music, right? And so if I want then to preach the gospel in such a way that those people are going to receive it and engage it, I am going to package it in a way that they are able to digest it and engage it,
100%.
right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think for me, I'm also trying to go, sharp, there are certain things I like, but I also recognize that not everybody likes the things that I like. And whenever I'm creating, I try as much as possible to create that balance of, I'm adding the stuff that I like, but I'm also adding the stuff that I think people are most likely going to listen to. As long as the gospel for me is not changed, tampered with, I'm like, sharp. Because at the end of the day, someone has to receive it and try and listen to it in such a way that makes sense to them. Makes sense?
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't think it's the quote unquote Christian answer. Because I think more often than not, I think I don't even know what the average Christian is, but I'll say that for lack of a better word. The average Christian, I think, would expect no. As long as, exactly what you're saying, as long as you're true to who you are. But all of that is art is very subjective.
Yes.
So I hope I answered the question, but
Yes,
do you know what I mean?
Very good things you're saying, yeah?
I think for me, number one, I work with artists that I believe in, right? And artists that I actually want to work with. So if I'm doing like a comedy show, it's somebody that I actually believe in and I know their art. If I'm doing like a concert, I work with people whose music I'm actually interested, that I'm listening to, that I know are not kind of like putting out stuff that I don't
Garbage.
like. I'm
Trash.
not like
Yes.
I'm not gonna do that. So I think for me,
He said it. He said it.
I heard it, but I did.
but also not even just like trash music or whatever, but like just the kind of content of you know, like
The
there's certain
substance
things
of-
where I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
like, nah,
No,
you know,
Lord.
like just I did you great,
Yes.
you know, for you, and I'm happy for you, but like personally, I'm just like, that's not something that I can tie myself with.
100%.
So I think that's literally where I am, and most of the time, the people that I work with, they're not even Christians, so it's not like you know, that's my field, but it's things where I'm just like, okay, I am not promoting things that I don't believe in that go against what I believe in. And if the world doesn't like that, we are here.
It is what it
It
is.
is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what
Yeah.
it is. But I'm not going to get into spaces that I don't want to get into just because this is what's happening. I was telling Amand the other time that I had a DJ who asked me to kind of like manage him and all of that. And I was like, my sole reason why I didn't manage, I'm like, my brother, I'm going to have to be in the clubs with you and I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just not doing that.
Sure.
Like, I'm just not doing that. You as a DJ, I think you're absolutely amazing. But like, I just need to be able to do that for you and to make the connections. I need to be where you are, and I'm not going to the clubs.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I more recently I'm sitting with this statement that I keep hearing, I guess, in different circles. It's like, you got to play the game.
Oh, Lord help.
And I sit with it where I'm just like, okay, like obviously with discernment, right? That like there's an algorithm. If now we're talking about digitally, there's an algorithm and what works, and we know what works, right? At the same time, it's like, how can you play the game and still be genuinely, I'm good with God, while you're still playing the game? And I think oftentimes for me, that's the struggle, because look, I don't think that, if Jesus now sends us into these industries that we work in, he sends us with full confidence, bro. I trust that you're going to do the thing. But at the same time, like, to finesse your way in there, I don't think that God looks down on that. For us being shrewd in where we are and how we do it. Here, you and him, and obviously community as well, right? But it's like always making sure, like continuously, that you're good with God as you are working your way in there matters a lot. I know that, like, look, I started as a street photographer in South Africa. That is
that's
not,
wild, my
that is
brother.
like super niche.
What
like
a God we serve.
Super niche.
What a God, my brother. That's
Bro,
tough, eh? That's tough.
Yeah, super niche. Not a thing that you just do as a career. Like, there's documentary photographers that we know that from the, apartheid times and all of that stuff that really still make, those guys did it well, and they still get good royalties from what they've produced.
Yeah.
But now in this time and age and digital age, like street photography, especially in South Africa, is not what it is in Europe, in Asia, in America, and all that stuff. And so I would see, like, at some point I'm posting my street photography, no likes. I post a photo of a band or a musician that I work with, bro. And I'm just like, the street photography matters to me because that's my itch, right? And I'm like, but the music stuff is the more commercial, popular stuff, content that pops off.
Yeah.
And it's getting me bookings, right? And I'm like, ugh. At some point, I remember, like, after COVID, I'm like, there's no ways, like, I'm going to keep just feeding the beast of, like, yes, this is what works on socials, but I guess for me, I know that there's people where that matters a lot for. I'm not trying to be an influencer and rake up following. So that's not my objective. For someone else, that matters a lot. That's what feeds them.
Particularly in the creative space,
and
right?
I'm like, like, then the narrative is like, as a creative, you have to be visible to the world so that it equates to financial results, yada yada. For me, I did a check. I'm like, I get no bookings online. That freed me. I have never gotten one booking online in the last 10 years. And I'm like, that's amazing, because then I don't need to depend on this. I don't need to keep feeding the beast. Yes, there's a perception of my work when I produce it, and that's great. Someone has a reference. That's what websites are for as well. But that freed me in terms of, like, what I say, what I put out. Because I remember last year, sorry, I'm rambling a bit here.
No, you're good.
But I remember last year, like, I think it was a full year out of weaning off of, like, chronic depression meds. And I put it out on social media. The amount of people, not online, that I met saying, I saw your post and it touched me. And, like, please pray with me. My brother, my sister, me, my dad, what, all of these things are all good. The amount of stories was so intense that I was just like, thank God, like, I kind of, like, just vetted where, like, I'm like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Like, why am I doing this? It's not that I'm trying to spread a message about depression. That wasn't the aim, right? Like, I still put out my work, but, like, I think after that post, it just made me a bit more conscious of, like, wherever you are, it matters what you say. And I think that as creatives, sometimes we think that our art is like, it's very common for creatives to be, like, self-orientated. It's just around you and what you produce and all of that. But, like, the other people, the
Yeah.
other side, bro.
And do you guys think perhaps that it's something you mentioned earlier, that because we are too attached to the stuff that we create, so whether it's a live event, whatever it is that you put together for some of your artists, we're so attached to those things that to some degree we haven't quite figured out the line between this is just something I do from wherever my heart is positioned or wherever your heart is anchored, and my identity. Does that make sense? Because I think, and the reason why I'm asking it like that is because I think Tim Keller who says if your identity is not found in Christ, your success will get to your head, but your failure will get to your heart. Right?
Guys,
and I think
I hear why this church loves Tim Keller, guys.
You're
Brian still loves Tim Keller, guys.
look,
Yeah.
he
No, but
I mean,
that-
come on,
that
come on.
comfortable.
You listen to the
No,
stuff
no.
he says,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
my bro, Sharp, right? But and I want to particularly zone in on failure will get you a heart, because I think
Bro.
I think as we're discussing this thing, right, the failures are somewhere, somehow shaping what's happening here. And people are struggling. I think personally, there was a moment where I remember writing a song and putting out the song. As we were writing the song, I thought, man, like Beyonce's got nothing on this bad boy. The song, no. You can like, right? And then you put it out. You've got like high expectations. It's like, man, you know, and you put it out and it's just like crickets, right? And what you were saying earlier, you start doubting, like, is my writing good? You know what I mean? Is this something that I'm supposed to be doing? As I'm interrogating those things, without realizing, my heart is getting harder and harder and harder and harder. That when you then see your peers creating something, you can easily go, no, bro, the song I wrote was much better than that.
Feel you.
There is absolutely no way that it's doing those kind
What
of
it's
things.
doing.
So how are you God in your heart when you
Sure.
start seeing that?
And
play
that's what
out
I
for
want
you?
to. That's what I want to ask.
I'm asking you.
I'm asking because I'm struggling. I'm struggling because, like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, I think it's hard, and it's affecting the stuff that I'm creating. It's for the longest time I used to write every single day. Like every day I would write a song. After going through those moments and questioning and trying to figure it out, now if I write a song a week, it's like it's a miracle, you know. And that's why I'm asking. It's like how do we navigate?
Do you think it's like that because then your heart has become hardened to this thing that you love doing so much?
I think
because
so.
of comparison.
Yeah. I think so.
There's
I
the
think
beast.
so. Right.
There's the beast. It's the comparison.
And I suppose the point I'm trying to make is, to some degree, somewhere, somehow, I think I've made this thing an identity of mine. Right? That I am a man who writes songs, and I am a man who writes good songs. And, right?
As the kids will say.
As the kids will say, clock it. But then when you guys don't affirm the cow or holy cow that I've just said here, to say I am a good writer, I'm a good songwriter, when you guys don't affirm that, I'm going, no, man.
Am I really?
But also you're attacking something inside of me that's making me crippled to write this thing. Do you know what I mean? So like, how do you guys navigate those moments where you're able to see that the failures of whatever it is that you've done have shaped your heart and hardened your heart?
100%. A couple of things come to mind, and such a fantastic question you're asking. And personally, like still navigating that journey of growth, because that comparison thing is a real thing, and we contend with it with offensively, or like you're on the offensive, or it's just there. And a few things which I guess for me are becoming a growing means of freedom in this respect. And I say growing because I'm in transit. I'm still one. Something that somebody once told me a few months ago is this idea of, when it comes to God, right? Recognizing that I'm loved before I do anything, right? So this essence of, because I think sometimes, even for me, the idea of performing in any kind of way is a means of affirming or proving that what it is that God is giving you, like he didn't make a mistake, for example, like you are worthy of that, or you're just trying to say, I'm thankful for what you give me, God, so therefore let me do X, Y, Z. And learning to rest in the idea that whoever he's called me to be, whoever it is, period, without me having to do X, Y, Z. So that aspect on identity, I think for me has been extremely liberating. But the other thing, which as well, it's this is even more recent, is, and you touched on it earlier, is that we all have something that is unique about us, right? These unique hues and shades that we bring into the spaces in which we walk in. And I think where we compare ourselves too much is that, well, then you diminish your flavor that is unique to you, that you're meant to be bringing. Because, for example, you look at how somebody else does something and you appreciate and you love, and you're just like, shucks, I don't have that level of skill, or I don't have that level. Therefore, what I bring has no value, or is not as valuable, so to speak. Whereas it's just like, but what if your particular hue, your particular texture, your particular flavor is the very thing that was needed in a particular environment to achieve a particular thing? Even if it was just one. And I think, again, it comes back to how do we measure success? So I think coming back to the point of, again, we live in a world we will experience, we will see others, and I think we should appreciate and all of that. That's fantastic. But never forgetting that what you bring is unique. It is important. And how that importance and that success is measured, I would say arguably has to come primarily from God. Not even necessarily from you, like God and God first, because he knows why he put it in you. You know, his gifts are without repentance, all that sort of stuff. And if you decide, okay, no, this isn't good enough to put out, this is like by whose measure, I suppose. Right? So anyway, continual reminders of those sorts of things I think help. And that has to be a conscious effort, I think, on the daily. I think if you are a creative and you work in that space continually, you probably face it a lot more than others. It's just maybe if you work in quote unquote in a secular space, in corporate or whatever, there's a different kind of pressure in this, towards the same thing. But we can separate, so to speak, ourselves from work maybe in a way that's different to someone who operates in the creative space on a consistent basis, if that makes sense.
It does. Sure. What do you think?
I think for me, like I'm definitely with Mojo on that. It's about identity. And I'm gonna just
Offer him.
Just I'm as a creative, and as anybody actually, if we have our identity firmly rooted in the God that created it, right? I think that's a much more, then you always have like a soft landing. You always have a place to go to when failure comes, or when people don't accept, and then it goes back to what you're saying. Why did you do this? Right? Did you do this because this is a gift that God has given you, and you've decided that you're going to go and you're going to plant the seeds and you're going to go and use it in such a way that God approves? Or did you do it for the applause? Right? Because if you're doing it for the applause, then that's when the whole thing, when you don't get the applause. And I love what you said about social media, about like the likes. The applause come immediately with social media. Like they either come or not at all. Very immediately with social media, right? Which works and doesn't work, right? So then there's that part, but we always have that soft landing of that. Okay, if this is a gift that God has given me, if this is, and the way that he has given it to me, and if God is intentional and this is how he has given it to me, how he has led me to see the world, how he has led me to see whatever thing that I'm in, then there's a purpose for it, right? So there's that part. And then on the other part, the off ramp, I have spoken to artists whose source is their pain. So when failure comes, it's adding more pain on the pain they're already feeling.
Oh,
So who
Lord
think
help
that
us.
their art and like actual artists, like painters and
Painter,
like those kind of people, where they feel like if they lose their pain, then their art is gone.
Sure. Sure.
May the Lord help us.
Yeah. So
May
those
the
are
Lord
the
help
kind
us.
of stuff where I'm
that's
just
your
like,
brand.
yo.
Your pain is your brand.
Yeah.
So that's
that's
the
tough.
thing. Like it's
That's
they
tough.
feel like if I let go of this pain, if I am somehow happy, then I no longer have the art.
So have we then? I'm so sorry to cut you off.
That's
there.
okay.
Are we then sort of some way somehow decided that all of this that we create, and I think we were saying it earlier, is primarily from just us, right? That, as you're saying, like whatever some of the artists may say, well, this pain is where I create from, or this joy is where I create from, or this whatever, and because we're attaching all of these things to ourselves, that at no point do we think that perhaps God is creating through us. At no point do we think that perhaps the Lord is putting that talent in you and just expressing who He is through your gifts and talent, and not necessarily that it is. I don't know if I'm saying makes sense.
get you.
It
For
is
an audience.
Chabo's thought. Well, it is Chabo's thinking, but there's
who
no
put
way
it there?
Chabo put it
Yeah.
on paper unless the Lord went, here you go. Do you get what I mean? Is that then the issue? And I suppose it goes back to the whole identity thing.
It really is. Because if you're saying that you're creating and you're operating from pain and your pain is the creator, then there's no way where you're thinking that God is the one that's giving you that.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I think even with the whole, even you understanding that this creativity comes from God, it does not mean that you don't feel the failures. It does not mean that you don't feel the comparisons or you don't do any of that. It's still there. But I think what I'm trying to say is with you and with having God, there's always like a place, a solid foundation that you can go back to. But if your source is then pain, then you don't think that God is involved in that in any way.
Lord help us. Yeah.
Can I just reiterating something that's already been said, but I just want to put it out there as well. Again, even in how the question's been framed, etc., is to say when you experience failure, when you do, it sounds like that term is defined, and I suppose my question is, but then who determines what failure is? And so it's again revisiting that to say, by what measure are you deciding what success and failure is? And I think that's a key component of navigating that particular space, so which we all obviously can navigate to some extent or another.
And I suppose then for me it's like this is Babylon, right? We are functioning within the rules and the establishment created by Babylonians in Babylon, right? In fact, let me put this question this way. I remember attending an event 2 months ago, and it was a Spotify event, and it was Christian artists in the room, and Spotify was coming there to say, hey guys, if you want our support, these are the things that you need to do. Spotify itself as an organization is not Christian, right? When you come to us and say, the Holy Spirit told me I must release the song today, the Spotify guys are going, my brother, who is like, what do you mean? The organization itself has built, the way they work, whatever they get. So in order for us to partner with you in a particular way, you must abide by the rules that we've set. If you don't, we're not going to put your songs out there for people to hear this song, right? And I think that's a perfect example of how this whole creative space work for me. And I want to go to your question about defining success versus failure. I think because we live in Babylon and we are consistently living within all these rules and all of those wonderful things, the reality is somewhere, somehow, because we're also consumers of this thing, we are ending up defining what success is, but
By
what the world is, what Babylon has set, right? And I think I'll even push it further and say, let's bring money into it. If I can't take my son to school, let's say I'm a full-time songwriter, whatever the case is, and I can't take my son to school, I'm failing. You know what I mean? And so because of that, I'm automatically going, for me, failure or success is I did not make money because I can't take my son to school. So is then that fair for the Christian creative to define success and failure that way? Or are we going, no man, as long as you're being faithful to Jesus and the Lord is making ways to take your son to school, whatever the case is, we're good? Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
I love the scripture of the 5 talents, bro.
Sure.
I love it. I love it so much. But it used to scare me. It scares me. I love it because there's a clear make it work.
Sure. And what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So I remember like there was a time where I studied, I got a degree, did an internship in corporate, and then I was just like, okay, but God, is this what you want me to do? I'm like, I can think of 10 different ways I could go for the rest of my life. Is this what you want me to do? Like, it's there. I've got the degree. I've got an opportunity. Is this what you want me to do? And I remember there was a conference back when we were on campus, I won't mention the church, but they came to our church and they were giving like prophetic words, like the students. I remember the one man gave me a prophetic word and said, you are going to travel and you are going to help men for a long time.
Sure.
Long story short, that's what I'm doing. I'm still doing it, but I didn't know how. It could have been in any other avenue, corporate, creative, industrial, whatever, right? But God so faithfully, I feel like feels like a bit of a redemptive story. I'm doing the way it started was doing what I loved. But I'm saying that to say the talents, when I read that scripture, I was scared because I was like, there's the one guy, bro, that just hid that thing. I was like,
my guy,
bro, when you come back, I'm going to dig it up. That's yours, we're good. And he wasn't chuffed about that. But the other guys explored what they could do with any other avenue, any other talent that they had. And for me, it was a part of me feels like back to your point about your kid. I've got kids. There's many times, bro, many times in these kids' lives where I was not going to afford to put food in the fridge. Many times. But my failing is God also failing, bro, which he will not do.
Sure.
So part of I have to learn this and remember this repetitively, that they will not starve, bro.
Yeah.
I've had guys around me. This is the other part, is that this is not just you. As a creative, sometimes the lie of the devil is that you are in isolation and you are not as a creative. And so the thing was that I had guys around me that would say, bro, your kids are not going to starve if I'm here. We will find a way for you to also have an opportunity because you're way too talented that you don't have a gig, that makes no sense. And so like, and that for me was also testament to the fact that these guys that had the 5 talents weren't just rocking up by themselves to go do things by themselves,
Sure.
bro.
Sure.
We just don't get that side of the story.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm
That's good.
saying? And
That's
so
good.
for me, it's like we use and explore our talents. You're a songwriter. You're songwriting. Like Babyface has gazillion songs that he's written for commercial artists, right? But there's a formula to that. You know what I gotta write in these 16 bars to get this to top the charts,
Yeah.
right? And he works the game, he makes it work, and he still creates his own music, right? And so I think for me, is I have wrestled as well with the, is my art my identity? I hate feeling like something owns me, right? I hate feeling like I'm at the mercy of something. If this doesn't work, I'm in shambles internally. I hate that feeling. Although it's rocked me quite a lot of times just as an artist, right? But at the same time, I keep going back to God, and I'm like, my art is my income right now. Like my art is my income. If I'm shooting trash, sorry, but if I'm
Garbage,
shooting
garbage.
trash,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna get a booking.
Yeah.
If I get a brief and I don't hit the mark,
Yeah.
I've missed the mark.
Yeah.
Like you don't get the invoice. Do you get what I'm saying? It's that simple. But at the same time, it's God, you've given me this to steward.
Yeah.
Sometimes God won't say steward it this way and gives us the liberty to find that out. God didn't say to Adam, you must only stay in that square feet and till that part of the garden only. Right? Go, son.
Yeah.
Go and work the garden. Name the animals. Do what you do. And that for me was like, I remember like there was one time I really was questioning everything, but I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to go find a job. I've got a degree. I'm sure I can make
back to
something work.
corporate, bro.
It's not like it's not like a fallback plan or anything, but I was just like, it had taken so much of me and from me that I felt like I'm out. And I remember just like, I was fasting at the time, and I remember God just like, bro, just go out there and explore. Like, yes, you have gazillion talents. Just go and explore them, bro. And I'm just like, go and explore them with 4 kids, bro. Bro, I've got 4 kids and a wife. I don't have time to explore, bro. Like I got
Which one specifically is gonna yield
you
me
gotta
money?
say this one. You know? Time is limited. But yeah, that's funny, not funny. But like,
That one took me out,
but, bro, I kid you not, bro. I remember in COVID having a podcast talking about men, and that got eaten up by a broadcaster. Just me, like God. I remember fasting. God is like, bro, start a podcast and just talk to men. I started the podcast. It got taken by a broadcaster for like a season, and like it fed my family in COVID, bro.
Sure.
Like I don't, and so I think for me that scripture, going back to it, it scares me because I'm just like, I can't go back to God and say I had nothing to work with, bro.
Yeah. That's good.
And for me, that's God. When I get back, bro, I'm gonna like just know that I left it all, bro.
Yeah.
I explored
That's
as
really
much as
good.
I could, every other avenue that I could, like whatever network systems. Play the game, bro. If you have to play the game, as long as you and God here, bro.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
That was quite a lot. I think I am still kind of like more in the place where, you know, when you're talking about where you were, where you're like, okay, Lord, you've given me all of these things to do and you've called me into this space. So I need you to kind of like show up, right? I think I'm still there. Where it's like I recently kind of like started doing the whole thing by myself and starting my own agency, and now I'm literally at the place where I'm having to trust God to kind of to show up and to open the doors and to do all of those things. So I am not the best one to ask about that because I am during and it's been like
Yeah.
and
I suppose the one way to put to put it to you in, because you're in the space, is like today,
Yeah.
how are you, what's making you stand today? What's making you sit in this chair going,
Yeah.
I'm not going to starve tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Funny enough, I actually asked that question to my little Bible group, but in a different way. What for you means that? What does it mean for you that God is good? Right?
Sure.
And I think I asked that because I'm going through like a season with God, and things are happening and whatever. And I'm kind of realizing that I keep saying that God is good, but what does that actually mean for me in this season when it doesn't feel like He's kind of like doing what He said He would do, And I realized for me, the thing, to answer your question, the thing that it is for me is that I truly, 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 truly believe that God is faithful. And if He's faithful, then He'll keep His promises to me.
That's good.
When He does that, how He does that, that's not for me to worry about. For me, all I'd worry about is that God is faithful. And if He's faithful, He'll keep His promises to me.
Yeah.
And that's really
Oh,
it.
my Lord.
That's tough in the
Yo,
in the fire.
my brother.
During the fire.
Yeah.
Moj, thoughts?
No, what's been said is profoundly challenging. Think about the aspect of, you say, God, I trust you with everything. And then you're brought into a space where I don't know what my next step is, right? And it's in moments like that where those words that we utter, we're now challenged to believe. And trusting in who God says He is, I think, is a journey we all are on. And we're challenged to see, like, will you really rest in Him in this regard, and rest in Him and be at peace that certainly He'll take God, He has you taken care of tomorrow. So I'm challenged just listening to this, because also being the kind of person, I it's nice knowing. You like planning several steps down the line. You're methodical and all those sorts of things. And God asking you to say, no, just take this step. And also, not even in that step, not having all the details ironed out, or enough of the details. Because sometimes I can, if I know 60%, it's fine. I can. But God's like, no, are you okay with just knowing 10% or 20%, because that's how much I've given you to work with?
Oh, Lord, help us.
So it's a genuine thing, but I think it allows, and I'm speaking for myself, it allows me to step out into those deeper waters and really get into a relationship with God that's going to a space that I have never been in maybe before. And again, like we said earlier, words matter to me. So if I've sat on a Sunday and I've sung, God, you are everything. God, I trust you. If I had nothing and I had you, it would be enough. Those sorts of things. See, it's life that then brings
That's
You guys
certain
make
songs.
you guys sing dangerous songs.
There are certain songs we must.
I feel like at some
we
point
must
we were all
remove.
sacrificing now.
I'm
We
telling you.
sacrificed at some point, and God was like,
There
bet.
you go.
Exactly. So
Oceans.
it's then recognize and reflect. I'm like, wait, I've uttered these things, I've said these things, I've read the script, and it's like, do I genuinely now believe it? And it's a prayer then saying, Holy Spirit, bring me to a space where I can live this truth out. And again, it's a day-to-day thing.
Yeah.
And so yes, I guess you engage with those with those moments from that perspective, and you trust God to carry you through. And I love what you said, whether God does it now or down or how God does it. That's for God to sort out. Your place is to rest. And that's certainly something I'm learning more and more to do, is to rest. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Also, just to say, resting, I feel like when we say rest, it feels like we're making small of what you actually have to go through to be in that rest.
That rest moment,
And I think, like, those are conversations that we need to have a bit more, where we're saying, like, to rest is not to be like, okay, everything, like, it's a hard thing. Like, it's a hard thing. To rest in God is a hard thing. But I think it's also one of those things where you come to a place where I feel like God asked you at some point in your walk with God, if you didn't have this, if you never achieve these big dreams that you have, right? If you never become the best gospel musician or artist, if you never get all of this big money, if you never get married, if you never have children, like all of these dreams and all of these things that we have and we hold and we're given, right? If you never have any of those, am I still enough? And I think at some point, that is a question that the answer to that question will then guide your relationship and where you go with it with God.
Absolutely.
This was so good. I want to have a part 2. Can we have a part 2, Nick? Come on, guys. We have to have a part 2.
Look, I just want to say that creatives don't rest. Not in a good way. I'm saying like
You're right.
You left it at like a big cliffhanger
Yeah.
there, and just creatives don't know how to rest.
We don't, yeah.
This
In
is
the
why.
Lord, but just
Just
But
in
just
general.
in general.
This
Just
is
in
why
general.
we must have a
Part
part
two.
2, because there are certain things that all of you have said that I'm like, no, we need to unpack that, right? Because like, for example, the things you're talking about in terms of the dreams that we have, and I'm always like, it leads me then to have a conversation around purpose. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we have to, I want to have this conversation. So anyway, we've been chatting for an hour and 30 minutes, and I think it's an hour and 30 minutes. No, it's an hour. My Lord, it's an hour. And I think we're going to end it there because we've got another event happening in this room. But I really, really think we should have a part 2. Hopefully have a part 2 maybe next week, depending on whether these guys are these busy people are available, and we can sit down and unpack a little bit more stuff around just creativity and what God is doing in the creative space in South Africa, and what we're trusting God to do in the creative space in South Africa. Good people, thank you. We'll see you next time. Sharp.
Cheers.
Bye.
Guys, we have to do a part 2.
I felt like they went to the point that I really wanted to talk about, which is rest.
Oh, I
That's
see.
what I'm like.
I
We have to
see.
do a.
So
I'm
big.
so
I'm
sorry.
I'm so big on
No,
rest.
you guys
now.
have to do a part 2.
Yes.
I skis. I'm realizing when you said I left the clip up, I'm like, I did that thing where I have like 10 tabs in my head and then I open all of them at
I
once
was
and I'm
also
trying to.
sussing out how much more time we still have. Because I was like, hey,
15 minutes ago, he was like, bro.
Oh man, I really love this conversation. We have to have a part 2.